Alright, so here we have in the top right corner of the map, playing for Dragon Phoenix Gaming. He's the red Protoss player. He is ZEST.
And in the bottom left corner of the map, playing an opponent he doesn't play very often, it's Heromarine.
Alright, so we have ourselves a PVT here. It's going to be the WardiTV Spring Championship. I believe it's in the playoffs, and so yeah, there's going to be a best of 5, and going to be very exciting to see how this series plays out.
Definitely. You don't see Koreans playing EU players very often these days. So this is, I think it's going to be a real treat for us, Snoopy.
Yeah, I think one of the, I guess you could call it a bright side of the pandemic is that it kind of forced everyone to play online. So we have like these matchups that we normally would not see because of before the pandemic there was a lot more lands, and so usually it was more regional. Koreans playing against Koreans, Europeans playing against other Europeans. And so, yeah, it's really nice to see kind of a mix-up and see players playing against players they normally wouldn't play against.
Usually a silver lining to everything. Even something horrible as the pandemic. But, alright, let's talk about this PvT right now. Everything seems to be quite standard. Maybe, not as unexpected from Heromarine, because he's not a cheeser. But ZEST is known to throw in the odd cheese every now and then. So, but it looks like, he's going quite standard for the moment at least.
Yeah. Of course, we'll see what kind of tech path ZEST does go for once that cybernetic core is done. And looks like Heromarine just being a little bit extra safe. Make sure there is no proxy. We of course have seen proxy void rays be a kind of a thing in the meta of PvT. So I just want to make sure that none of that is happening to him.
Yeah, you can thank shield batteries for that. So the second adept is coming out for ZEST. This leads me to think that it's going to be a Stargate opener, just because, with adepts coming out of the gateway unit, you have more gas for the tech of choice.
Yep. Oh, a little bit of a pick-off here of the initial SCV, building the bunker. We'll slow it down just a tad, but with these 3 Marines as well as the 2 popping out very soon, I don't see this adept doing too much more damage.
Oh, it's actually a Twilight Council. Very interesting. ZEST going 3 adepts. I think it's just, to pressure Heromarines natural. See whether he can get any, cause any loss mining, probably.
Actually, he is adding that robo, which tells me that he's going for DTs, especially going with the first adept, the 2 adepts. Instead of a adept stalker, that means it saves extra gas for him to throw down that dark shrine, which it just looks like he does. And the idea is that you go across the map, you warp in the first initial 3 DTs and try to do as much damage as you can. If not too much damage is done, you can kind of retreat back and warp in another single DT to morph to 2 Archons, because you will have, of course, 4 DTs, and then harass with those 2 Archons.
Yep, for sure. 2 Archons, against Marines that are stimulus it's still quite potent. So I would say it is a strong build in the PvT meta at the moment.
Alright, I do love how ZEST is still keeping up with that scouting with the depth there. But I'm not sure if he did see or catch that Widowmine medevac drop, as I think the path did bypass that adept there. Looks like, oh yeah, oh okay, the army of ZEST. Go ahead.
Bring his adepts back, but then well, he's aware of it right now.
Ooh. Okay, looks like only 4 goes down, so nice reaction time by ZEST.
Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, ZEST is warping in 3 DTs, although Heromarine has got a Raven in place. Very nice little skirmish going on here. they're still able to pick up some SCVs for having gone down, despite, Heromarine having built a Raven. Although he did lose one DT for his troubles.
Yeah. So kind of an even trade there for probes versus for SCV's loss. Now, interestingly enough, he has yet warp in 2 more additional DT, so he's going to stick with only 1 so far. I think he's kind of preoccupied with that Widowmon drop still.
Yeah, he's also a little bit short on gas. So let's see what this single Archon drop can do at the moment. Hey, that's 1 SCV, not too bad.
Yeah, unfortunately, 1 Archon isn't the scariest. It feels much more scarier with two Archons instead. With the second brother.
Yeah, you can do juggling as well, right? To sort of get remove target fire from one to another.
Yeah, and especially since Archon has that so much shield under their belt, it really helps to have as much Archons as possible. Oh, nice little warper. Yeah, it does activate the Widowmon there.
With Warp Prism, you essentially have Blink with all your units if you can micro it well.
Oh yeah, but there's so much fire DPS here from Heromarine that I'm not sure.
Pulling the boys as well, just to make sure.
Yeah.
This looks quite dead right here, to be honest.
Yeah, really strong attack by Heromarine, and a ZEST will be taken down. Heromarine wins game number 1. Alright, we're back for game number 2 here on the map of Beckett Industries. Here, spawning at the top right, we have our red Terran player. He is from Mouse Esports. He is a Heromarine.
Spawning in the bottom left corner of the map. People say that he is best. Well, he is ZEST.
I always love that phrase.
Yep. I mean, to be fair, I think it's fair to say that he's probably one of the. You could argue that he's the best Poros of the last year because he did come in second in IEM Katowice 2021, losing out only to Reina in the finals.
Yeah, I think he definitely has an argument. Although I think it was a bit of a better year for Trap, winning those GSL Super tournaments. Yeah, overall.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
But I'm sure he's
that he bombed out.
Huh?
Unfortunate that he bombed out a bit, in Katowice.
Yeah.
A bit of a disappointment. Yeah. So ZEST going for a low ground pylon end gate here. What do you make of this, Snoopy?
It's a very interesting wall off because normally if the Protoss does wall off in the low ground, they would do it at the choke area, but he's kind of leaving some open spaces. So
this wall is like a non-wall, to be honest.
Yeah.
So
unless he has some sort of plan, like this must be intentional, right? I mean,
well, if I didn't know any better and this wasn't ZEST, I would have thought I was casting like a goalie. So,
that's fair.
Well, let's see what comes out of this.
Yeah,
pretty standard so far, though. Obviously, with this map being a short, a small map with a short rush distance. As a Protoss, you should definitely go core first before Nexus, which is what ZEST did. It is, of course, standard these days in PvT, but just a couple of years ago, you did go Nexus before core in PvT.
Yeah. Well, it looks like it's going to work out for him because he does got the Marauder, which tells me, or which tells him rather, that there is going to be a infantry push out very soon because you don't get a Marauder that early in the game usually unless he's looking to attack across the map.
Yep. One scouter though, if you put down a shield battery, that's pretty much the end of the Marauder push. Although ZEST is not putting down a shield battery, interesting.
Yeah, that kind of worries me a bit, especially since he has 3 adepts, no stalkers to shoot against these marauders. So
well, I guess just positioning himself on the top of the ramp to make sure that he gets the first shot, was enough for him.
yeah, and you know what? Actually, maybe this not a bad idea, because one of the things that concussive shells can slow down the stalkers, but with the depth shade, I mean, that kind of cancels that out a little bit.
Yep, he did lose one adept for it though, but trading it for 2 marauders and 1 marine, I think he can be reasonably happy with that, especially since he didn't put down a shield battery.
Yeah, for sure.
So we've got a fast immortal coming up for ZEST, followed by a warp prism. Is he going for a push?
That's very possible. I mean, he's adding those 2 additional gateways, gonna go up to 3. I would imagine he's gonna throw down a 3rd behind this while attacking, and I think it's just to put on some pressure, not a full-on attack, and kind of dwindle the amount of bio units with these force fields. And
he's got 5 gates though. He's put down 4.
Oh, okay. Never mind then. Then he is going to go for a more committed attack here. So we'll see how Heromarine deals with this. Actually, he's in the dark right now because he has no scouting information about this.
Yep. Well, that's what happens if you go for a Marauder push. You don't have like any Hellion harass or Widowmine drops that gives you scouting info as well.
Oh,
really
man.
nice force build there by ZEST, catching up, preventing a lot of Heromarine units from heading back into safety.
This is gonna force Heromarine to pull the boys, but yeah, I think he should better just retreat right now because he just can't really face up against that huge army right there of ZEST.
Yep, that was really nice by ZEST as well. You saw, splitting off 1 zealot to tank the Widowmine shot.
Yeah, it's those little things that makes ZEST one of the best, if not the best, Protoss right now. And looks like ZEST gonna go ahead and continue forward. I mean, he has no reason to kind of fall back. I mean, he can just warp prism micro the injured units and then pick off as much units as he can.
Exactly. ZEST doesn't need the blink upgrade. He just needs a warp prism. And GG is called. ZEST ties it up 1-1.
All right, so Lightshade, one of the smaller maps, very similar in terms of the same rush distance as Beckett Industries as we did play in the last game. So do you think we'll see the same Marauder opening from Heromarine in this game?
Well, if it failed so badly the first time, as a normal, usually you would feel a bit, low in confidence to try that again. So I doubt it, to be honest.
Yeah, and especially since I think Beckett Industry is like 2 or so seconds more quicker from natural to natural. So
despite that, he didn't get any damage done. Last game, so he'll probably opt for something safer this time around, which gives him a bit more scouting intel as well, because he definitely was caught off guard by that push ZEST did in game 2 when he didn't manage to do any scouting.
Indeed. And we're gonna have go ahead.
ZEST is known as an aggressive Protoss, right? So not scouting is spells disaster, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. So you
want to said that he went Marine first.
Well, I mean, the Marine is just to get the quicker reactor, and probably should see a factory coming down soon. So might be maybe a Widowmine drop, or maybe even Hellion drop here, but we shall see in a couple of minutes or so from now.
Yeah, I mean, Heromarine didn't even SCV scout,
Oh yeah, that's right.
Luckily he's playing against ZEST, not Parting, because Parting has all his proxy gate builds that are designed to punish greed like this.
Yeah, the kind of the more commonly famous 3-gate Parting build, where he just kind of skips the second gas and just goes straight into 3 gateways behind 2 nexuses and just put on some pressure. But luckily,
I like that build actually.
Huh?
I like that build. Wonder whether we'll see Zest do it, you know, maybe in the next game, but
Yeah.
pretty standard for now.
I think I
Going
have seen.
Stargate this
I
time?
think I have seen Zest do that build. Don't remember which event, but
Okay.
there's a possibility, definitely.
So Zest scouting with his adept once again. The depot was actually down for enough time for adept to shade in. Not sure why he didn't try and sneak in there. I think it's always worth sacrificing an adept if you manage to get a full scout of what the Terran is doing.
Yeah, I mean it's a hard call. Sometimes players are willing to go for the risk and sacrifice their adept, or sometimes they just want to play it safe.
Right.
But in the
That's
meantime, we do see the Oracle heading across the map here. Let's see how much SCV's kills this Oracle can get. So far, not getting quite too much done here.
Yep. Only one SCV has gone down.
And it's a little unfortunate because, you know, the Terran player, Heromarine, did not have any turrets or Widow Mine in that base in the natural, nor did he have any in the main. So he could have gotten actually a decent amount of SCV kills, but a little bit of a miss micro does kind of
Hesitated a little bit there.
Yep.
Right. So 2 additional barracks going down following Heromarines 111 opening.
All right, so it's going to be a Phoenix transition here, which is something I actually like. There's a lot of areas that these Phoenixes can kind of fly around, and also, you know, they can kind of catch these drops, or even this Raven that's coming on at the top side, which it looks like Heromarine kind of forgotten a little bit. But you know, you can kind of transition to Colossus Tech. Although actually, as I say that, he is throwing down that Twilight and Forge, so not quite going for that Colossus Tech quite yet.
Yeah, I think another popular follow-up is just going charge, right? Got Phoenix that can handle drops and provide anti-air. You have charge to clear up a lot of ground units.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually don't know why Stargate openers are not more common than you know it's being played at the moment. I feel it's actually a really strong play in PvT. You get scouting, you know, you have anti-air, you know, it's good against Widow Mine drops, gives you map control and stuff. So yeah, I just feel it's a little underused.
Yeah,
Let's see whether I'm right, you know. See whether Zest wins with this build or not.
I agree. Phoenix openings are pretty strong and pretty solid. I think one of the reasons is because it's kind of due to player preferences. Sometimes the Phoenix opening, you know, you have to have a little bit more micro and babysitting around, and sometimes, you know, the Protoss player doesn't want to do that. They just want to go ahead and maybe open with
It's
Blink
definitely
Stalkers.
more APM intensive, you know, more multitasking intensive, because you have to be really active with your Phoenix.
Yeah.
So Zest spotted this move out. I think if I were him, you know, he'd probably have to recall soon. You can just fly back, I guess. Such a big attack coming out from Heromarine. You need all your units at home to be able to defend.
Yeah, he did scan ahead, so he did see like the huge number of charge lot, and I think he's a little bit hesitant to commit to the push. And I agree with him, because really he doesn't have a lot of Widow Mine. He doesn't have a lot of tanks to, you know, take down those charge lots. So you might want to go ahead and just wait a little bit for more reinforcements.
Yep. Meanwhile, Zest sending an army of Zealot across the map, really confident that he can hold, you know, whatever Heromarines got in store for him.
Oh yeah, and there's absolutely nothing here to defend at the natural. And all the SCVs will be evacuated. This pulls the entire army of Heromarine. In the meantime, Zest chasing out some of these straggling Marines behind there. And big, I guess, efficient trade there for Zest will kind of delay the push as well as delay mining.
Yep. Looks like he's still building phoenixes. Wonder what number will he stop at? Usually the magic number at I think last year I've seen most Protosses go up to 5, but these days, I've seen them go up to 8, and looks like ZEST is, building even more than that.
Yeah, he's really done a lot of phoenixes, and I'm not sure why, because really there's not a lot of tanks to pick up, and so
Yeah.
I guess he can flex a little bit. I mean, he's allowed to, especially since he kind of, I feel like he's quite in a decent position. He's got 64 workers compared to the 45 of Heromarine, and even with mules, that's not going to cover that huge of a difference in the worker supply.
Yep. This is a lot of zealots from ZEST. Well, there's your answer. What the Widow Mines, what the Phoenixes were for, picking up Widow Mines.
Oh, and actually dragging some of the Widow Mines onto this bio units, and that is going to do with ZEST with a solid Game 3 win. Alright, here spawning at the bottom left corner of the map, we have our red Protoss player with a 2-1 series lead. Can he close it out, or will his opponent have something to say about that? Give it up for ZEST.
Spawning in the top right corner of the map. Down 1-2, but definitely want to bring it back. It's Heromarine. Alright, so we saw some unusual builds from ZEST in games 2 and 3. Game 2, of course, with that Immortal Sentry Stalker that pushed off 5 gates. And in game 3 with a typical Stargate opener, but, a whole army of zealots behind that. Let's see what he does in this game. What else does he have in his bag of tricks?
Yeah, I mean, ZEST's one of those players that just has so much build orders that he has under his belt that, he's one of the great Protosses to learn build orders from. And, it's not like overly cheesy like SOS, but also it's not like really defensive, and
it's more macro based. His cheese, even though he has builds, is still more macro type of play, unlike SOS, as you mentioned.
Yeah, it's kind of like a in between SOS and like stats or so.
Yeah. Speaking of stats, this is one thing I really appreciate about ZEST, is that because he has such a variety of playstyle, he's really unpredictable, and that's what I feel Protosses should be. Because with what you got in your arsenal, you can have such a variety of builds, which makes it really difficult for your opponent to read and to meta game against. But if you play against someone like ZEST, he's pretty much going standard and just playing defensive.
Yeah, and that's one of the main I guess I wouldn't say criticism, but complaints that Terran has against Protoss, is that they just has so much build orders that they can go in many pathways that's very hard to predict. And that's one of the things that Terran players has spoken out and kind of vent their frustration about, like how do I know what's coming. And it's really up to the Terran player to really scout like aggressively, make sure what they're facing against and how to counter it.
Yep. So ZEST opting for a Twilight Council opener this time. Maybe he's gonna play standard this game. Who knows? We'll see.
So far, throwing down the Twilight Council. No Robo yet, so this kind of tells me that it's going to be a Blink opening. Not going to be the DT opening that we did see in game number 1.
Yep. In fact, maybe this might be one of the greedy openings where you go 2 gate and then you take a third. Before or after a Robo, it depends on variations, but a good Protoss is usually able to defend with just 2 gateways.
Yeah, and to be honest, if there's not like a bow push out timing attack, there's really not a lot of things that Protoss need to be too worried about. So they can kind of save on some of the extra gateway and the extra stalker and just go for a faster, quicker third. If it's things, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Which is indeed what ZEST is doing. A 3 minutes 45 third. Well done, ZEST. You know?
Yeah, usually it hits around like 4 minutes, right? Like the third base, but
Yeah.
this is even earlier, and that's kind of reflective on what you just mentioned about the skipping of that third gateway.
Yep. Exactly. And with Heromarine opting for Widowmine opener this game, there's really not much he can do. Well, he can hope for big Widowmine connections, but that's let's see whether ZEST will be ready for it or not.
Oh, well, it looks like he is kind of set up to be ready, because look at that spread here with the stalkers. A stalker into the left and around the middle, and then the one adept taking the right side watchtower. So he's got so much map vision that he should be wary of what's coming. And yep, he does scout the medevac here dropping.
Yep, and you can pretty much, know that it's the mines inside. Oh, nearly sniping that Widowmine, that medevac, sorry.
Yeah, so ZEST will have to keep an eye out and babysit the minimap, make sure he has the stalker in place. But in the meantime, looks like ZEST wants to go a little bit aggressive on the other side, preparing for a move out with that War Prism. A blink is done, so he can kind of blink in, but gotta be careful because there are a good amount of Marines there parked up.
Yep. No, he doesn't want to go up there. Actually, he does though for some reason. I don't know. I feel that was a very aggressive blink up. How did he know that Terran doesn't have stim at the moment?
Yeah, that's very risky. But I think he was confident enough on his War Prism micro to help with that. But yeah, it was definitely risky because if he had stim, oh man, those blink stalkers, a lot of them would have been dead. Let's just say that.
Yep.
All right.
So is that putting down an additional? How many gates is that? That's an additional 7 gates, going up to 10.
Holy moly, that's a lot of gateways. So he's playing a very mass gateway style.
Yeah, that's actually what ZEST is known for, right? When the Terran actually builds up a big army of bio, it's really hard to fight into that without any AoE. But ZEST somehow always makes it work in PvP with just gateway units.
Yeah, and that used to be the kind of go-to meta, right? Like Protoss will just go up to like 8 or 10 gateways and just play mass gateway styles. I know Astrea used to play a lot of that build, but more recently, he of course kind of switched over to more disruptor style. But that is still a viable build, and ooh, just actually thinks twice of it. Will cancel that War Prism drop, or War Prism. Warping.
He was warping in 10 zealots into Heromarines main, but with Heromarines main army right at the ramp, I don't think that would have been a wise decision.
Yeah, for sure. I think that was definitely the smart choice.
Yep.
Alright, so it looks like Heromarine is going to go ahead and pull the boys here. He is going to go for an all-in, and I'm not sure if this is the best choice because there are 2 shield batteries, a lot of gateways, and a lot of available warpings for ZEST. So it's going to be up to Heromarine to get the perfect engagement, and can he do it? Shield battery overcharge does get activated. At the same time, there is a War Prism drop into the main base of Heromarine, but again, this is an all-in pretty much from Heromarine.
Yep. Meanwhile, as ZEST is doing a lot of damage at Heromarines mains with DTs, he knows he doesn't have to hold the Fed. He can pull back, get more units, defend his natural. That would be the safer play. Yep.
Alright, he's gonna go ahead and try to get this around, pulling his boys as well. Is it enough though? Oh man, the army supply of ZEST is trickling down. Can he hold on? He does have those DTs available still. Let's see if he can warp in some additional DTs, because the main base is pretty much ravaged. So these command centers will have to eventually lift up soon. So that's going to leave Heromarine with less scans And I think we're going to have ourselves a little bit of a base trade.
A little bit. I think it's a big base trade. Heromarine has lifted off his command centers. He knows that, you know, at the very least, he's trying to opt for a draw at the very least, just because ZEST wouldn't have any anti-air or, you know, air units to chase down command centers, right? But as I say, that one command center does go down.
I think both.
Did he have
yeah, I think both command centers
went
went
down.
down. Yeah. Oh my god, if he can warp him some DT. Oh, actually, no, Dark Shrine has not. Oh, actually, he does have 6 DTs left over here, so if he can recall, maybe he can hold on. Oh, these DTs are hacking away here, and Heromarine is going to have to run back towards his turret.
Yep.
And really, honestly, ZEST can just kind of wait it out. He does still have a base left over, so he's not in any hurry to end the game here.
Yeah, especially as, you know, he has DTs guarding it as well.
Oh, but Bao is pretty strong. But these DTs are still hacking away and decreasing the numbers. Now, if Heromarine can snipe off this Nexus, there is no minerals left over for ZEST to remake another one. Can he do it? Oh, he does take it out, but he does sacrifice the rest of his army. There is no more army left over for Heromarine to attack and kill the rest of the buildings.
He only has 5 medevacs. If he flies, you know, all his barracks to like different corners of the map, he'll get a draw.
Oh man, can he do it though?
But ZEST is wise to this. You know, he's able to see all of them, all of the floating buildings, because the command centers were taken down. So let's see whether he can get to all of them before they fly to the unreachable corners of the map. GG is called. Heromarine knows that, you know, the last floating barrack would not get to the corner in time. GG is called, and ZEST takes it 3-1.